It
I
always
think
takes
you
a little
never...
bit of time to get the
Sure.
timing down for infinite.
You want me to shut up?
Nah.
No. I think you never finished your train of thought why you specifically preferred Super Metroid even after, even playing it after the others.
I think I don't know if it's necessarily a preference. It's just that for a lot of people, they don't like dealing with the floaty physics of Super Metroid. But I can adapt to either. I don't really mind the floaty physics. Something about them, they just feel fine to me, and that could just be from just being used to it, I guess. But even people like today will still be like, oh, I don't like the floaty physics. But most attempts to change the physics in Super Metroid always go poorly. Like redesign, people don't like the physics changes in the redesign. People don't like a number of things about redesign, but that's definitely one of them.
I think Super Metroid is a game that is very, very well designed around its engine, and they knew extremely well how Samus can move and what you can do with her moveset, and made the rooms for that and all of the various obstacles. Very nice. And many ROM hackers, designers, they will naturally take inspiration from how the original rooms are set up, how far apart from each other the platforms are, like here, how high your jump is, and so on, and what you can do with these setups. And if you then change the physics afterwards, it will just feel terrible. You would have to design your entire game around an engine that you change first. And then you can't take inspiration from the original anymore. And there is something to be said for the floaty physics, allowing you to do weird jumps like the ones you are doing right now, of course.
Yeah, it's a fine balance for sure, but I just I think I got really used to it, and I've been satisfied with the way that the game feels to play ever since, really.
No, that's perfectly okay. It's like, I think either you get used to it because you just play it a lot and you consume a lot of beer made from it, like you did, after the fact, or you got used to it as a kid and it's just like, this is Metroid for you. And either way, it works just fine. But I mean, I'm not one to talk. I'm playing Sonic 2006 for fun.
Oh.
And that is, yeah, physics.
Ah. I'm trying to get to
There
that
you go,
platform
today.
and go left.
Ah. But yeah, NGDBSS knows a lot about me playing Sonic 2006. She's guesting on my videos.
Ah, okay. I think I gotta like jump through that door. The only reason I'm bothering to go and try to do a speed boost puzzle right now is because I think maybe it might be. Oh, I can get that too when I come out. It might be a super missile.
Yeah, that would be worth it.
You know what I'll do first though? I'll just hit this.
Oh, that's reasonable. We did not finish the very hard levels yet. 4 more as a group. Sorry, I should have just written that in chat.
Ah, don't worry.
If you make videos out of these, you would cut out these attempts anyway, right?
Maybe. It all depends on like what's going on in conversation.
Ah, there you go. To the
It was a
left, to the
super
left.
missile.
Nice. I didn't even realize what you were attempting to do, so I was like, let the man cook.
Alright, and so the next one was... That was weird. I didn't keep my spin. I think I fired at the same time.
Oh,
Alright.
that's certainly a quirk of the engine. Oh, getting lost in the cubes. Alright, there is a central room here. I did see that on the map. Spoilers! Wait, there is... Ah yeah, this is another secret storage. That makes sense. What are these weirdly colored things? Huh. Is that it?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I mean, it's relatively easy to
Whoop.
get these missiles into this room, I mean. But still, it's a lot of... much to do about a missile pack.
I'm trying to think. Where am I going next? I got myself a speed booster. I guess there's a couple places I can go.
Well, I can't help you much. You obviously know the game much better than I do. I did notice one or two speed booster things, but would be hard pressed to tell you where that was.
Oh, I think I know one place I could go. That's probably the better choice.
A whole clump of enemies and no plasma beam. Yeah. I mean, you could always go back here later, right?
Yeah. Okay, I think probably... Oh, I didn't want to go back down there.
Now it's a speed trap, actually.
Yeah, really.
What's this other end?
Where's Dr. Robotnik? I'm gonna blame him for this somehow. Alright, we're gonna go back down to the lower area.
Have you played other M?
Yes. I don't own it any longer, but I have.
Yeah, I bought it for like €7 used, which is at least 10 too much.
I bought it new.
Oh, condolences.
Nobody knew it was going to be bad when it came out.
I bought it because I knew it was going to be bad. And I always like to experience bad games firsthand because maybe there is something to them. Sonic 06. But
genuinely, I want to kind of do another MLP because it is just... There are a couple changes to the gameplay, and it could be genuinely like fine, good, however you want to say. But like, there's just little bits and pieces, you know.
I generally understand the sentiment, but even I found very little redeemable about Other M. I think for me, the moment that made me realize that Other M is just a bad game, like no matter if you cut out the story or whatever, was when I was finally getting the speed booster, and you have these long corridors between sections, and I run through the corridor, and at the very moment that Samus would get the speed booster activation, there is a small section of the corridor floor where you trip over and lose your acceleration.
Yup.
And that's in every corridor. And this is just... Why would anybody in their right mind do that? Just let me run.
It's really frustrating.
It's unbelievably bad. It's... I cannot even fathom the idea behind that.
Yeah, like that would be one thing,
hateful.
is remove that, of course. But like, even on a level of this is supposed to be kind of an action game, it fails on being an action game in some cases because of how forgiving the dodge roll is. And like, this isn't a gatekeeping thing like, oh, it's gotta be really hard. It's just like, no, there's genuinely like no downside to just mashing the D-pad anytime you need to dodge anything.
Yeah, the game is completely devoid of any sort of challenge, which is weird because it builds itself as this kind of stripped down arcadey action thing when it's not about the terrible story. But that also doesn't work. It's like, then what does it do well?
Yeah.
Pixel hunt sections? There are some puzzles to get upgrades where I was like, oh yeah, I kind of like that. Granted. Yeah. They're like, this is fine in the engine, and I feel like unlocking the final secret boss fight, that was okay, because you have to get 100% anyway. And I found it good. Genuinely interesting that they had an extra section hidden behind a 100% requirement, because usually when you get 100% in a Metroid game, you're like, oh yeah, I might get a new picture for that at the end, or I might not because it took so long, so I guess I'll actually have to replay and re-get everything and more efficient this time, which I never do because why?
Hey,
so
another
just
energy
say,
tank. Very good.
cool,
I need that.
that's very good. But saying like, oh yeah, you actually got a tangible reward of gameplay at the end. That's good, yeah. And it's like, it didn't feel like I wasted my time because I knew I was going to 100% it anyway, so that I could hate on it fundamental knowledge of everything the game has to offer. But it wasn't completely wasted, so that's something. Oh, I just praised Other M.
Feels bad.
He's really bad. I mean, there are people who are like, oh, I thought the gameplay was actually quite nice, and it's like, more power to you if you like that. But I just didn't like it at all. I thought it was terrible. I did even mind the idea that you have to use only the Wii remote. Like, I thought that was genuinely a very, very interesting idea. Bold decision as well. Boneheaded, yes, but also they could have pulled it off. Not like that though.
Oh, I'm in the wrong room.
I knew that, but sorry, I wanted to let you run into the trap of going to the wrong room.
Thank you.
Evil.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Can't spell evil without Eris. Question mark. English isn't my first language.
I might...
Oh man.
Let me see. I'm skipping ahead a little bit by doing this, but it doesn't really matter. If you know the thing, if you know it exists, or maybe I can't do it until he gets freed. I might not be able to. There's a ceiling I can speed boost into, but I might need that guy to break these stairs, which means I need to grab power bombs.
Interesting that it works like that. It's also something in that other hack that you played. Forgot the name already. The good one, the new one.
Subversion.
Subversion, yeah. Where the monkeys were used to crack open certain tiles, and you had to guide them. Like, it looked like super jank, but a great idea.
That was I was genuinely
watched the Eris videos, but damn, this is a visual style in it. It sure is.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was genuinely surprised that the monkeys worked. That room worked at all.
Yeah, I mean, it did work in the end, right? It's like, I was looking at it like, no, actually, I think I would try this and this and this, and you were just like confidently solving it. It was like, no, actually, yeah, sure.
It was relatively intuitive, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Ah, this is it.
Yeah, so when we find all the artifacts, we come here, and this leads us towards the end of the game.
Interesting. That's one way to do it. Here as well is like, usually you have the 4 bosses as requirement for the golden statue, of course, but you don't have to do that.
No. And
this is also something where I'm like, if you think a little bit bolder, you don't need bosses in this game. Like,
I think a few of them are skipped entirely.
Yeah, it is good. I like that a lot because the bosses suck in Super Metroid. I'm sorry. I mean, you said Kraid is one of your favorite bosses. It's fine. Kraid is good. Yeah, I don't mind Kraid at all. But like, Dragon is garbage in my opinion. I really don't like that boss. It's just like you stand around and then you shoot diagonally upwards. Can you do that? Great, amazing. Or you do a super janky quick kill, which is like not very intuitive to figure out on your own. But now, of course, everybody knows it.
Welcome to church.
I'm worshipping over here. Wow, that guy's a master dodger. Probably wiggled his Wii remote.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome to church.
Cool. Is there anything in church?
Yeah, no, we're gonna progress up through the ceiling.
Okay, good. I was wondering if you were like knowing that you can't pass through here because it did look doable.
Ow.
Only 2D Metroid with good bosses is Fusion. I don't know, have you played Dread? I did like the Dread bosses a lot.
Yeah, Dread was really great.
Yeah, no, Dread is phenomenal. It's like one of those games where I feel like these genres can get a little bit stale and a little bit stuck in old game design ideas, which are fine. You know, that this game is fun to play and to remix to them today as well, but it's a little bit niche, and there are still some things where if you copy the game too much, then you might make the same mistakes that it originally committed, like we have talked about already. But Red has a lot of, I'm just going to do things my own way and adapt this a little bit to modern days. And even if it doesn't always stick the landing, I think it was very, very well done. And it's similar to Mega Man 11 as well, where it's very much not like the classic games in a lot of ways, but it is still obviously a classic Mega Man game. And it's a very good start, and they should continue with a 12 or so. Sorry that you hated Dread Casperitas. I just really liked it, but I do know it is also controversial. But I think any good game is going to be a little bit polarizing.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's fair.
Maybe not Prime. I think everybody likes Prime.
Nah, unless that's the joke. Yeah, people. There are people.
I mean, there's always going to be people, but I feel like there is a very, very small percentage of people who don't like Prime.
It comes down to a lot of times it comes down to the whole items hunt and stuff.
The hunt? Yeah, sure. I feel like people dislike the item hunt because they feel like Prime is otherwise extremely good. And that's the one thing dragging it down that's at the very end. But that already presupposes that they got to that point and had a great time until then. Whereas if you don't like the Emmys, well, that's very early in Dread, and it's not going to stop.
Meanwhile, I know a guy who doesn't like Prime and has never played it.
Oh, well, how would he know then?
I stopped asking questions. He's got opinions. I like this library.
It's cool. I didn't realize it's a library, but now that I think about it, yeah.
Yeah, this guy's up on the ladder. He's checking the stacks. This guy's reading, I guess. He's at the the little library tables with the lamps and such.
That's something that I actually only just got, and also with the church and the auditorium, that we're supposed to be seeing this. These are not Chozo statues, right? They are actual Chozos that got like petrified or something here, or these are the exoskeletons.
Sort of, I suppose. I'm not exactly sure how. Oh, hang on, before I go back up the room, I just see a rock in the ground there that kind of makes me think something. But I'm not really sure if they're supposed to be or not.
I mean, why would you make a statue of a guy sitting on top of a ladder?
Oh, that's a speed
interesting.
Boost.
Underneath you as well?
I'm trying to think where I'd charge it.
Is it underneath you as well? Because then you could go straight up here.
Yeah, I could probably charge it from the save room. Maybe under these. Oh no, this is looking. It might be from here. I probably would have time to come into the room from this.
Oh yeah, this is a good charging spot.
I'm probably going to overshoot here. Yeah. I have to stop it before I get down the list.
Subtle engine knowledge, which also I think many people pick up as they play, but if you leave one of the pickups behind, then the enemies won't respawn.
Yeah. And so that's like a handy way to prevent them from spawning on me as I try to run down the room. Okay, I got it as I'm going through the door. Come on, down the thing. Oh.
This fucker. Don't like him.
Nope. This better be worth it.
It's going to be one miss, I think.
Probably, but I would really like it to be an energy tank because I do know that there's a...
Didn't drop anything, right?
I was at max.
Oh yeah, that's another engine knowledge thing. Very nice.
I probably did that maybe a little early. There we go.
Excellent.
It's missiles, but whatever.
I mean, it's 1/10 of your missile capacity that just got added, so...
Wish these guys did less damage. So, we were talking about, like, how some of the harder enemies... some of the harder enemies have less damage now, or more damage. But, then there's these guys where it's like, oh, we've made the easier ones harder.
Great. This window reminds me of Harmony of Dissonance.
I'm gonna go save.
That?
Which?
Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance.
That's the only one that I didn't play. I played all the other Metroidvania Castlevanias, but I have not played Harmony of Dissonance.
Have you seen it?
I saw it. I know that it's got the whole deal with its visuals being way bright, and that was like
Exactly.
part of it.
So the visuals, when I first saw the game, I really did like it. I thought it looked terrible and garish, and also I didn't like the gameplay itself as well, so it was just bouncing super hard off it. But recently I played it on the GBA collection on Twitch.
Right.
And I realized that it does stuff like this here with the windows in the background, where also there's moving stuff. And it's super psychedelic and it is super garish, but honestly, it looks pretty good a lot of the times. Old, yeah. And NGDBSS points out correctly that it was bright because the original GBA didn't have a backlight, and also it was a reaction to Circle of the Moon, where people were like, this game is impossible to see anything on the screen. But it does mean that still they had to come up with a lot of ways
Did you
to
see the
make...
gentleman?
Hello. To make the parts of the game stand out more.
Wow,
I do think that
some good super drops. Wow.
it is very good, yes. In many ways they did pull it off, and in other ways they overshot, but still most of the rooms are actually individually very diverse and striking, and that is definitely something that Circle doesn't do. If you're in one area in Circle, then every room in that area looks exactly the same. And not so in Harmony. Every room is different and like garish in a new way sometimes. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of this game now that I think about it. It's very easy to identify which room you are in when he gave you an easy time here.
Yeah, he really did. This fight can be very dangerous.
Especially on that terrain. I don't mind it. I think using the previous kind of whatever bosses and giving the terrain a little bit of spice is a good idea.
Yeah, Golden Torizo is a pretty decent fight because he can actually move around and do stuff. So the arena changes actually aren't like... They're not going to be like... Spore Spawns, you got him and his arena, and his like... If you get a bad arena in a hack, it just sucks. Whereas like this guy, it depends, but...
Do they just respawn?
Yeah, he did. It's alright.
Oh, that's solid.
Yeah.
There? Huh.
Nope.
Okay. Is that a power bomb?
Yeah, it is. That's what we're getting.
Ah, yeah. So you are seeing like non-pick-upable power bombs in the background, and the one to the top left you can. Okay, sure. That seemed obnoxious.
I think there's... I can't recall. There might have been a chance that I've missed high jump so far, or could have had high jump by this point. Because there is still some exploration to be done, and there was a set of ninja pirates that we fought towards in the outside on like the surface area of this
Right,
of this
I remember
game.
those, yeah.
And at this point, we have enough.
Them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we have enough missiles, and I have charge beam and all that, and I could go that direction. I think having super missiles would also allow me through a door or two. And so, like, I get it. Like, I probably could have, like...
Yeah, the thing is, like, high jump is highly optional if you just naturally can wall jump.
Yeah. 4 power bombs. Oh, yeah.
No, that's true. I mean, not that they are very useful in combat, so it's probably the decision to just let you bomb stuff, which is blessed considering how much is hidden in the walls.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
We're
Thinking
gonna...
about Fusion's 3 billion powerbomb pickups now.
We're gonna take a moment to quickly... We can't leave out the way we came, but that's fine.
Safe.
Yeah, I was just waiting for that guy on the top to make his walk.
Oh, I didn't realize that there is a puzzle to this. And that they can break walls.
Yeah, enemies can break walls. It's used very sparingly. The main place that it gets used is in the original is the digger robot in Meridia.
Yeah, right. I mean, that is specifically designed to do that.
Yeah, it's.
But we've seen that a bunch of times in the hacks now. Yeah.
I wouldn't always recommend using it
Wouldn't
because
either.
they are completely invisible to the player. There is no information whatsoever that the player can discern about the status of enemy break blocks. It's not like, you can bomb them and see a certain graphic or anything.
Yeah, that's something that would have to be clearly communicated unless you want it to be obscure. Like, I'm imagining like a puzzle room where you have to route some crabs by putting obstacles somewhere or whatever.
Yeah. Or what you can do is you could sit down and just like create a design language for them. Like, okay, I have this gray block with this design. That's a block that an enemy can break.
Exactly, and then make it mandatory to see that once. Classic stuff, where it's just like a snail slowly chewing through a floor, and you can't help but wait for it to do that, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
connect the dots. Yeah, I would think like if you lower barriers for these doors, and then the crab goes a different way, and then it breaks the ceiling somewhere, and you can get a power up.
There are ways to do it for sure.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then yeah, they're completely invisible. The same goes for grapple blocks. Because there are blocks that break when you grapple beam them, but they are completely invisible as well. So you have to design a graphic for it or something.
Yeah, I mean, there is a graphic for a breakable grapple block.
Yeah, but it only becomes visible once you grapple said block.
Isn't the one that crumbles after a while?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is crumbled visibly in the Vanilla Super.
It is. However, the thing is, that is actually a tile state that you can apply to any tile in the game.
Right, but you don't have to, right? You can just use the visual language established by the original game.
Sure. What I was just saying is, like, it's a bad idea when people do that and don't. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, obviously, I was just not even considering why you would do that. It's like, because it seems so completely idiotic to me. But no offense to any hack creators.
Thankfully, that has not been the case for a long time. Like, people don't really do that anymore. But in old hacks, like even older than this one's original release, people would do that sort of stuff just because, well, we were all stuck on modifying basically the original game only. The whole, I mentioned a whole thing in the Searching for Items LP about half hacks and full hacks. And half hacks were basically you take the original game's map and layout and just remodify the contents of the rooms, because that was like easier and didn't require as much in-depth knowledge of how to work the game. And so people would just create all sorts of like challenge levels by doing things like that. Yeah. They would just hide everything.
Challenge was definitely something that I was thinking of, where like you have an audience in mind of people who know all of these various systems and weird quirks, and you make a hack for them. And you're like, okay, so you think that you know Super Metroid. Yes, again, I'm using the most obscure mechanics you can think of, and that is not like spiteful. It's supposed to be a thing where people go like, oh, that's clever, I didn't consider that you could use this and this. Which is still something where I would say, okay, first of all, that would be really clever if you do this and this and this, but it should also still be, there's the Fable Evasion item.
Yes.
It should still be accessible to a player who doesn't know these things. And that is possible if you use an obscure mechanic, but force the player to interact with it, and they learn that this works like that now, basically. That this is possible, and you see that in newer hacks a lot. And they might not even realize that this is not something you programmed specifically for your hack. You didn't change the engine, that was there all along, but it was just never used in the original. This is what I think is really clever, and what modern hacks do really well.
Yeah, for sure.
must admit I don't have a specific example in mind, but it's like often it's so natural when you're like, oh yeah, actually this was something that was always in the game. Just this time you're forced to do it, and they made it super easy. You're welcome. Edward Torr said a while ago, actually, Vitality does a pretty good job signposting its enemy breakable blocks. So does it do it like always the same tile as we talked about, so that is very clear?
I want to say that it's in an area that has it, like there's instances where the blocks will break and you see the enemy break them, and it might not be universal across the whole hack. It's like specific to that one's like design in an area or whatever, but it does have some, and it's generally... Oh, hello. Oh no, I have to blow up his ass.
Behind its ass, there is an explosion. There's this environmental storytelling here.
But yeah, no, if I remember right, it does work pretty well.
Do you have that on your list?
Vitality? It is on my list. I'm just not sure if I want to do it, because it's going to be like, all right, this playthrough is going to talk specifically about like all this guy's hacks.
Is that by the Eris person?
Yes, it's
Sorry,
his later hack.
You did mention that, but I forgot the connection. If that was like the next project or the hack by that person.
Right. No, it's just a decision on, well, maybe I'll do it.
Sure. You don't have to do every single hack that we mention here.
Yeah, but it
how
would
many
be a
of
good
dissonance blind playthrough.
I've got an Axiom Verge playthrough as well. People are saying I should play that. I've played Axiom Verge 1.
No, that, yeah.
But
I haven't played it at all yet.
It's an interesting time. It really is.
Oh, I would... If I see it on a sale at some point, it's like, too many games.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
It was mentioned in the chat, actually, if I have played the Bloodstained randomizer, like I have played Bloodstained once and I should really play it again, because I did like it a lot, but it feel like it would profit from a replay, and also I didn't like do everything in it, like collect all the souls, and so I always felt like I want to do the game a little bit more justice.
I've played Bloodstained a few times, but I've never gotten through to the end of it. Not for any particular reason. Eventually I just kind of put it down. I liked it. It's fun. It's definitely like a good spiritual successor, and they keep adding way too much stuff to it, but like, I don't know. I just haven't managed to sit down and go through it all.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few systems where I would be like, if your game didn't have those, it would be better. Like the food system.
Yeah.
And some of the progression is like, oh yeah, this is deliberately obtuse, just like Soten. It's like, but back then everybody had a player's guide lying next to them.
Yeah.
And you should do better. Like, this is not good because the original game did it. It's one of those things where you're like, you can improve things, and some of the original ideas were just the style at the time, but it's not longer that time.
Right.
I did notice that you can actually open this door from the right, but not from the left. I mean the gate that opens closes.
Oh, the other gate?
Yeah.
I didn't even try to open it from the other side.
Yeah, but you've always been ducking through it. I was like, why is it still here?
I duck under it because now I can morph under it.
Exactly. I feel like this is one of those things where if you were to really polish that, give the game to me as a playtester or whatever, I'd be like, make it stay open after the first time.
Right.
It's just obnoxious.
I am referencing...
It's nitpicking, of course. Yeah.
I'm referencing my map.
Sure.
I gotta quickly run through the Metroid room.
I mean, now you can do that quickly and running.
Yeah, I didn't acquire a hat this time.
Very nice. Like, as intended. Just speed boost through your problems. I feel like we are long overdue for Varia at the very least. Is it just me?
We are, but if I remember right, there is none.
Oh, right, you said that. Right, yeah. We did see a lot of water. Yep.
Yeah. Actually, let me take 1 sec. I'm gonna go quickly
Sure.
use the restroom, and I'll be right back.
All right. See you in a bit. So chat, it's just me and you, and I will be on video for the cool stuff and fun things that I say. Now I'm actually going to take 8 bites of my snack. But you can write cool questions to the LP superstar, Simply Simon.